Every thought deserves its moment. This is Overthinking Out Loud.
Grab a drink, lean in, and let's overthink it together. Out loud. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Overthinking It Out Loud. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Jess.
And we are starting a podcast. This is our first episode.
It's kind of crazy. It was just a random thing that we thought of, and we were like, you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, like, technically it was your idea to have a really cool podcast, and then I was like, can I be a part of it? So really I commandeered a little bit and just invited myself to be part of it. But
somehow I had the crazy thought of like, people really want to hear me talk about random shit. So here we are.
Yeah, like,
and then I was like, it's weird if I do it alone. So I'm happy you volunteered.
I feel like you could be entertaining by yourself even.
And just talk to myself. It's a normal day, really.
Yeah.
Normal day.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a lot of podcasts out there, and really we were just like, let's add to it. Let's just, why not? Anybody can podcast these days.
They really can. So like, why not? If someone likes us, they like us. And if they don't, we do it for fun.
Yeah. If they don't, then they can listen to somebody else.
They can go to the next 500 ranked podcast.
Yeah. Okay, so Jess, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like,
man,
who is Jessica?
Who am I? My gosh, I was thinking about this, and I was like, I'm gonna wing it because I just I want it to feel organic, and I don't want it to be like rehearsed. You know what I mean? So maybe that's a theme in my life. I try to be the most authentic person I can. I try not to let other people influence me. I have a lot of opinions. And I think that's just how I go through life. I love change. I love a new environment. Nothing really scares me, honestly. I feel like I've seen it all for the most part. Which says a lot about me, honestly.
You've been through it.
I've been through it. The highs and the lows. I'm sure there's more to be had, but the boring get to know me stuff is I'm from California, the Bay Area. I've lived there my whole life. Half of my whole life, meaning 6 years from today, I've been living in Arizona. So not my whole life. But I grew up in the Bay, and my family still lives out there. And I moved to Arizona. I followed a boy. And literally, we weren't even engaged when I decided to move. But the day that we left, the house was packed up. House was packed. The day we left, he proposed. It was hysterical.
I don't even think I actually know the proposal story, which is kind of crazy. Like, I knew that he proposed to you.
Yeah.
And I'm also very glad you came to Arizona because that's how we met. And we'll get into that later. But I don't even, that's funny.
Right? It actually is a funny story. And I feel like, and this will probably be a story for later in the podcast of like fate and like how you meet people and whatever. But it was so funny. He literally, the house was packed up, and we were gonna take our dog Jet, he's now 14, to the beach for the last time because we knew that if we brought him to Arizona, he's never gonna see the beach again. Like there's no way in hell. So we were like, okay, let's just take Jet to the beach again.
One last hurrah,
One
Jet.
last hurrah. And then that's where he proposes on the beach.
Aww.
So, yeah.
And just you two?
Just us two.
That's so cute.
Yeah, so cute. And like it was actually I was totally like, it wasn't even a thought in my head. Like there wasn't a thought going in my head that maybe today was the
No. You were like, I'm stressed. I gotta finish packing.
I gotta find a job.
Truck all this stuff to Arizona.
Literally uproot my whole life. Yeah, those types of things in my head. But no, it was the best decision, and it has only been good for us and for me. I am a corporate event planner. I've been in events since the height of my career. Went to college at Cal Poly, which is in Central California, San Luis Obispo. I wanted to be a vet. I was literally like, up until probably I was like, I don't know, 19, I wanted to be a vet. I got into Cal Poly for animal science, and I took a quarter's worth of animal science classes. One was meat processing. Yeah, we can talk
Yeah.
about that.
We're gonna have to talk about some of the stories you told me about being a vet tech. I'm like, I would have literally walked right out. I would have been like, that's not happening. I'm not doing that to that animal.
Literally, honestly, it's like it was the most eye-opening experience. And it was a highlight of my life, but also like definitely told me absolutely, absolutely not. So I guess good and bad.
Yeah.
And then I started doing events. I was doing like running races, so like moving barricades and like grungy stuff, all the way to now corporate bouge. So, and I love events. It's crazy. I think there's different personalities for that, but yeah, that's where I am. Fast forward.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
Right here.
Okay, now it's your turn.
Okay. Well, I'm Jamie. Born and raised in Arizona. Had a brief stint in New Mexico, but mostly always lived in Arizona. Um, there's a lot about me. I think a really good indicator of like who I am is that last year I had to do a personality test for my therapist.
Oh, wait, your therapist made
He
you?
literally, okay, that was a whole thing. Like,
Okay,
that was
okay,
a whole
okay,
thing.
okay.
Like, I honestly, we're gonna have to talk about that at
Yeah.
some point. But yeah, he had me do like an online personality test, my
Huh.
therapist. And
Isn't that his job? But anyways, I digress.
Yeah. So on the like neurotic scale, 0 to 100, I was a 99.
Okay.
This is not a joke.
Neurotic?
Neurotic. Like has to have control over things, like has to like just things always have to be like a
And
specific
a nicer
way.
term, type A.
Very type A. Like
Okay.
super I am very type A. I like to think I'm a chill girl.
I'm a chill girl.
But I'm not at all. I'm like, but the thing is, like, I feel like I have two different sides to my personality. Like, I can be very type A and very like, okay, like this has to be a certain way, and this is how I like it and stuff. But then the other side of me is very like weird and like calm. And there's just there's like two very different sides to me. I don't know if that's like a Libra thing. I don't think it is.
It could be.
It could be.
It could be.
It's a scale.
Yeah,
I have to
someone needs
balance
to let us
myself
know.
out.
Yeah, someone needs to let us know.
But yeah, I think I could go into a lot about like my personality itself, but y'all are gonna find out real fast what kind of person I am.
I feel like
And make your judgments.
I feel like that's like the most interesting part about you in a good way is like you have so many facets of yourself, of your personality. Like you're not one thing. You're so many things. And it's actually maybe that's good for me because like I love like being like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, oh wow.
What crazy shit she gonna do next?
And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And this is why we started the podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, otherwise I started a nonprofit. I actually started in like global health. Did a lot of stuff in different like public health nonprofits, international work in Arizona, and like kind of started in like I switched over from kind of direct services to marketing, and then got into events and loved events, loved like fundraising, and then started working with you.
I know we work together.
Yeah, we work together.
So
can't get enough of each other.
no, we really can't.
But yeah, just like again, it was kind of like in the beginning, very scrappy kind of like community events at first, and then like started to get into bigger and bigger events. Now doing bougie events, which I love, is very fun. Very different from like the fundraising realm.
Like philanthropy type vibe. It's like
yeah, very different. And like there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
Obviously, nonprofit has its faults at times. Sure. Like you're just wearing a billion hats for almost no pay. Mm-hmm. So but no, I love it. I love events. I think it definitely like scratches the itch in my brain for like wanting things to be a certain way.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of control in that. Like, and you have to. That's the thing. It's like people who have like a personality of like type which we have to. Like you literally cannot survive without it. You cannot do what we do without needing some sort of level of control.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone in events who's just like, yeah, it's like There's like one person that we know where I'd be like they're pretty chill, but they still care and they still like have attention to detail, but very much like, like,
It's
whatever
fine.
happens. And I'm like, I wish I could be like that.
Genuinely, I'm like, wow, nothing bothers you. I swear. I'm like, how do you just bounce? Things just bounce off, and you're like, eh. Like they again, like you said, they care. It's just like, to me, I see something going off, and like, I'm just like, inside my head, I'm running around. I'm like, I told Chris, my husband, like my SpongeBob's. I don't know if you've seen that episode of SpongeBob
Yes.
where like they're running around, everything is wired, like the file cabinets are out, and like that's what happens in my head. Is like my SpongeBob's are running around in my brain trying to figure it out, and I can imagine her SpongeBob's, their SpongeBob's, being like,
Yeah, like just it's fine.
yeah, we're
It's
good.
fine.
Like,
Which is like the best way to do it too, because like it's never, if something is really wrong, it's not like they like don't do anything about it. It's just understanding that it's something they don't have control over and letting it go. I aspire to be more like them.
agreed. I'm like, how could I? It's not. I was gonna say careless, and that's 100% not the truth. It's letting things go that don't actually matter. So, it's a goal. It's a goal for the end.
Yeah, it's a goal. Don't know if I'll reach it.
Nope. We could try.
We can try.
We could try our
We can
hardest.
try. Just manifest it.
Manifest that.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, I literally just married with a dog, a cat, and a tortoise. So
Petunia. I actually held Petunia the other day, and it was low-key magical.
Yeah, first time holding a tortoise.
Yeah. I mean, in California, we don't have tortoises. Actually, I've never met anybody with a tortoise. So there's that.
We'll leave it to my husband. Do you want a tortoise?
But again, I could say that I've owned like hamsters, and I've owned rats, and I've owned like those types of critters, like gerbils and chinchillas. And so like people think that's weird.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe Chris does. My husband does. Thinks it's
I
really
could see
weird.
him not being like a rodent guy.
No.
But I
Rodent
love
guy.
chinchillas.
Aren't they
I had like
cool?
hamsters and mice growing up. So.
I mean, they're.
Oh, I had a rat too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're chill. They just kind of like just poop everywhere. It's really
Yeah,
what they do.
that's the worst part of it all. It's like they're
Is-
cute, and then you're like, ugh.
Yeah. Pets.
Ugh.
I've always had a pet. Have you always had a pet?
I've always had a pet. When I was in college, for like my first year in college when I dormed, I didn't have a pet with me, obviously. But like I had a family dog.
Yeah.
And then literally like right after I moved out of the dorms, my second year of college, like I got a cat. Well, the cat found me. It was like the cat distribution system.
Okay.
And that cat, wish it didn't find me. Rest in peace, Shady.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Story for another time. But yeah, I've always had an animal. Yeah, I think like I kind of like need it. I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
That
Something to take care of.
And I'm like sadly one of those people who are like, oh, like if like this animal passes, like I immediately need another one.
Okay.
Like I can't
It
wait.
needs to fill the void. The void
I
needs
have to
be
fill the
filled.
void.
Yeah.
Which maybe isn't the best thing in the world, but yeah, like literally cannot go without an animal.
Of some sort.
Yeah. Maybe at some point, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I kind of want to just like have no strings attached, just travel a bunch and like not have an animal to take care of at some point.
100%. Like it's almost like as soon as like our two dogs go, and I kind of want to try it out. I want to see how I feel about it. Because again, I've always had a pet, whether it was cats or again my hamsters or whatever. Like all throughout college, I've had pets. Like at home, my parents' house, we've had pets, dogs, whatever. And I just want to try it out. I want to see how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Like, because I never really thought about not having one. So it's like if I think about it and like choose not to have one, like how's it gonna feel? I'm interested. To
Yeah.
see.
What's that like?
I don't know. No idea.
No idea. Guess we'll find out in like
Guess we'll
10
find out.
years.
Literally, like Jet's gonna live to 24. I swear to God.
Jet is indestructible. Absolute tank. Like
I don't.
that dog is built different.
He is. I don't know what. We should have bred that guy. I swear.
Yeah.
Like his genes are strong.
Yeah.
But
Could
hey.
you imagine Jet having little babies? Like just giant Labradors, like
Literally just chunks. Like they're
Yeah.
all chunks.
unit, absolute unit.
Actually, maybe I don't wish that upon anybody. Let's be honest.
Literally indestructible dog.
Indestructible.
Ugh.
Like, you want a dog that lives for 20 years? Here you go.
Yeah. I once saw that dog, well, I didn't see it, but walked into like 12 nectarine pits
Oh my god. I
on the
forgot about
ground. Like that dog had eaten 12 nectarines and was just like, like,
that. We're good.
yeah.
Sounds chill.
Yeah. Like literally just like, can I have some more?
Yeah. I'm
like,
actually still hungry.
Yeah. Like, how'd you eat that? How'd you survive that?
The funniest part is that he left the pit. Like, he
Yeah,
knew to leave the pit.
Ate around it.
Yeah.
He's like,
Licked it clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's eaten cookies, like a whole tray of cookies before. We take him to the hospital, try to pump his stomach. He doesn't even puke. Like, don't stop taking him to the hospital because it's like he cannot throw up.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's bizarre. He just doesn't.
And he's
he's
just
fine.
like, I'm good.
I'm good. He just like poops it out and then he's like, let's
Wow.
go.
See, that's the kind of dog you want, though.
True.
It's the kind of dog you want, and that's why he's like 15, 14,
Yeah, 15.
15 now. Yeah, because he's just like
I'm a teen, so
a teen. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that like you and I have known each other for a while.
Yeah.
How many years has it been now? Actually, it's
we first met at Chris's mom's wedding.
Yeah.
That was the first time we met, and that was in 20. My God, when did they get married? I'm gonna ruin this. Why?
I think it was like 8 years ago.
Yeah, because I was still living in California.
Yeah, you're still living in California with Chris, and
Yep.
that was the first time I met you. Was at the wedding.
Yep.
Which like. We're about to explain the whole family tree.
Yeah, because
right
the
now.
funniest part is the family tree, and that's how we met. That was the genesis of how we met.
Yeah,
Which is funny because it's a story.
it's a story, and it's also like really hard to follow who's who and how everybody's related.
Should we get into it?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, our husbands are related.
Yes.
So that's how we met, like short and sweet. Chris, your husband, is John Luke's, my husband, nephew.
Yes.
Even though they're a year apart.
Right.
So basically, John Luke's older sister had Chris like a year after John Luke was born.
Yes.
And so
So essentially, they're brother uncles.
Yeah, they're like, I feel like it's easier to explain them as cousins because they're
True.
like a year apart. Like,
Yeah.
because like they're, yeah, obviously they act like brothers, but they're not brothers. So I'm
Yeah.
like, cousin, I guess is like the
That's true.
closest thing. And I've known Chris for a long time though. That's the weird part is that like I grew up with Chris,
Yeah.
not really knowing like who Chris was. My older sister Bree went to school with Chris.
Yep.
For years, like all through at least middle school and high school, if not also elementary school.
Yeah, I think a good chunk of every single like group grade.
Yeah, like I remember him being a part of like a prom they went to or something. Like I'm pretty sure he was like at the house.
Yeah, and they
so
were
like
friends. Like, I mean, it's not like these were small schools. They
yeah,
were
it was like a
friends.
huge school.
Yeah.
It was a huge school that they went to in high school, and like yeah, they were friends. And then they graduated, whatever. My sisters, I have two sisters. My sisters and I worked at a restaurant together, and then Chris started working there.
Yep.
And then Chris got John Luke hired there. So
Yep.
it was just like me and my two sisters, and then like John Luke and Chris.
Yep.
And then John Luke got his brother hired, Max. It was
yeah.
a family affair.
Yeah, this restaurant group, or this restaurant in particular, is where it all started, I swear. Like,
It is where it all started.
It's how the whole friend group, honestly, how the families are tied, all of it is based on everyone working at this one restaurant.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
actually quite beautiful.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, restaurant.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, that's like kind of where we all met. And then
Yeah.
Chris, like, John Luke and Chris were like roommates at one point.
Yep.
And so like I, kind of spent a little bit more time around Chris. He was my manager at one point.
Yeah.
And then he moved away to California, and that's where he met you.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, we worked together a long time. John Luke and I worked together for like 3 years before we even started dating at that restaurant,
Yeah.
and then we've been together ever since. 9 years now.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. 9 years.
9 years. And you and Chris have been together at least 7, right?
7.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's 7. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. But yeah, so technically that makes us
Sister
aunt.
wives. No, just kidding.
Basically sister wives.
You're my niece in
Yeah.
law.
And she's my aunt. So
Yeah.
which is actually hysterical.
Yeah.
Um
You'll from now on refer to me as Aunt Jamie.
Aunt Jamie. So hello.
But yeah, so we're also a year apart too, which
Yeah.
is like funny that I'm technically your aunt-in-law.
You are my aunt-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a
It's
year
just weird.
apart.
It's weird. And honestly, we didn't even get into like the details of the family tree.
No.
Like their family is like, my family's like, like my 2 parents and my like 2 sisters. Theirs is like somebody here and somebody there and somebody there, which is really cool, but also
cool.
like so confusing to explain to other people.
So confusing. Like when I showed up to the wedding, mind you, Chris did not give me any heads up. He did not even,
That does not surprise me.
He didn't even try to give me a heads up of who people were. And so when everybody was there, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's my uncle. Oh, that's my aunt. Oh, that's this person. Oh, that's my like literally."
Wait,
most of it's aunts and
when
uncles.
when he pointed out John Lucas, he's like, "That's my uncle."
Literally,
He did.
yes,
That's
he goes, "That's
so
my
funny
uncle."
to me.
And I was like, "I'm sorry,
Huh?
what?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, so," and then he went through, "Oh yeah, so when I was born, then John Luke there, so my grandma and my mom were pregnant at the same time," and I was like,
That's such a guy thing to like be with you a whole year and then you don't know anything about like the rest of his family. You're like, that's your uncle? Like
that was literally the first time I met his parents. Was at the wedding. Like
I don't think I knew that.
It's so bizarre. Like,
wow, you're strong for showing up to that wedding.
But then he left my ass because he was part of the wedding. So he was doing all the bachelor things, like with Kevin. And I was just like, oh, I guess I'll just hang out.
Wait, where were you? Like, where were you staying?
Where are we staying? Oh, Tanya got
that big house.
The big house.
Yeah.
So not only were we staying with Kevin, who's my father-in-law, Kevin's parents from New York in the same house. Like, I was like, who are all these people? In no context, and I was so confused the whole time. I was like, I'm gonna fuck something up. Like,
there were like a billion people in that house, and they were all family. Like, it wasn't friends; it was just all family.
All family. And they and then I met his brother and his sister, and I was like, oh, they kind of look like you, but like,
oh my god,
yeah.
Okay, I was like, Chris's brother and sister, and it's because like Tiana and. Or sorry, I don't know if I should use their name. Oops. But it's because they're like significantly younger than him. I always like think of them as like his niece and nephew, even though I know they're his siblings. Like I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, because I mean, they're quite a bit younger. High school and recent like in college, and he's 30.
In his 30s, yeah.
Like. So very vastly different. So it's not like typical brothers and sisters like I'm used to, where like you're closer in age and you got grew up together. But like he had a whole life before, and so they weren't really that close. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like he was like, doing his own thing, living with his dad, and like they just weren't that close. So I was like, oh, like brothers. It was just a totally different construct in my head about like what a brother and sister were. But at the same time, it's so cute because they all like look up to him and like they just treat each other like in a different way. But it's still really cute.
Yeah, it's really sweet. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I don't think I knew that full story of him giving you zero context on any of the family.
Zero context.
And I also met a couple of John Luke's siblings at that wedding. Really? I hadn't met his 2 brothers yet.
No way.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, like you don't look anything alike.
Yeah.
First of all, like how? Half brothers.
Yeah.
So, Yeah. We're gonna have to do the whole family. We're gonna have to
I think
do
we're
like
gonna
a diagram.
Yeah, literally.
So this is this person.
What's that meme where the guy's like this? And it's like all a bunch
Oh,
of like
all the, like
lines?
the math. Yeah, all the math on the board.
That's what's gonna have to happen.
Yeah.
But that's how we know each other. And
So we know each other. And we've had a lot of good we've had a lot of good times together. Honestly, we've done some crazy stuff. I feel like when we first met, I think like I mean, I immediately liked you. But I
Same.
think it was like we had to, like take time to get to know each other's
Yeah.
personalities and stuff over time.
Totally. And it's hard because it's like we weren't even like living here at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like a little bit more difficult to be like, oh yeah, it was cool to see ya. And
Yeah.
then, you know. And then I was trying to ramp up living here in Arizona, and I was just like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to figure out my life and whatever. So we didn't like hang out that much until, man, I would say like COVID, more than that, or earlier.
No, I feel like that was when we started hanging out way more.
Yeah, we started hanging out way
because
more.
otherwise it was like we saw each other at like family functions and stuff, and
Yeah.
like occasionally did get-togethers, but yeah, I think that was more. And then John Luke and I moved away for a little bit, but we still like saw each other and stuff. So like I think moving back here was when you and I really started hanging out more, because obviously, it's a little easier when you're in the same state.
Yeah, it really is. And that's
Really
like
is.
the hardest part when you have like long distance like friendships and stuff. It's tough, but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah. But you really like, I commend you for just immediately jumping into life here and just immediately making friends, immediately like meeting new people through Chris and work and stuff.
Yeah.
And because when I moved away, I basically like, I think I forgot how to make friends. I forgot how to socialize. And I didn't realize that I was so comfortable here with all of my friends and family that I actually forgot like how to make a friend.
I mean, but it's so hard, especially as an adult. And then it's like you really only make friends through work. And thankfully, like my work tends to bring in very fun people, like, and fun people to be around. But I mean, that's a lot. Like I made a lot of my friends through work, and those types of things, and like, and a lot of it has been through Chris and Chris's like others and his friends, their wives, their girlfriends, their whatevers. So, I mean, I think he did the hard work, honestly.
Yeah, he laid the foundation.
He did. He laid the foundation for my success.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I feel like we've given everyone a good kind of rundown of who we are.
Yeah.
At least.
Don't worry. There's gonna be more Easter eggs.
There's
on
more.
This hunt.
Honestly, way
You're gonna
more
be like,
that we
"Wait."
could get into.
We'll drop some little treasures.
Yeah, we're just
along the way.
yapping at this point. we can talk.
We could.
Well, one of the things that we would love to start doing on the podcast is going to be our thing.
Yes.
Hot takes.
Hot takes. Because I think the one thing we share in common are our love of opinions.
Ooh, we have a lot of opinions, and
do.
we love to overthink.
Yes. And about those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just agree on those, agree on those takes, and we're just like, okay, let's dive in.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
all right,
today's.
what's your hot take?
Oh, man. Okay. So my hot takes are Karens. But it's funny that we mentioned the restaurant is like specifically in hospitality settings.
Yeah.
Because I have a story, and this is what sparked it. I was at a catering event, which essentially was like a big outdoor, like almost like a farmer's market, but like not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it was for a cause or whatever, and we were serving food, and we were in the like quote VIP section, right? And this was all for like a good cause, like it was philanthropic. People who paid to be in the VIP section. It was like $20 to pay into like the VIP section. And we were the only ones serving in that area. And the lady came up to us and was like, "Is this it? Is this what I get for my $20 donation?" And I was like, yeah, like, we have we have soup here, we have hummus here. So, I mean, we have plenty of servings, so obviously come back as much as you'd like. And then, so whatever, she like huffed, grabbed the hummus and the soup. And then she came back like no later than maybe 10, not even 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes later. And she goes, "Can I get another soup?" And I was like, "Oh, I can get you a bigger cup." Because it was like literally like those little like taste testers.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I'll get you a bigger cup." She goes, "No, this is fine." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I had another helper with me. And I was like fixing up something behind, so my back was facing. And I guess she came up to the other server and was like she was like, I was waiting for it. Like literally was like waiting for me to turn around so that she didn't feel like she was like, because she was embarrassed about the way that she acted about like, oh no, like this is it, I don't want to, I'm gonna get another soup, and then like refuse to get more soup. And then essentially was just like scared of me at that point, was embarrassed of her actions, that she waited for me to turn around for her to run up to the other server and get more soup
And act like ask for a bowl of soup after you'd already offered it.
Yeah.
Okay, like first of all, you donated $20. Get over yourself.
First off, it was a donation, right?
Yeah,
a donation
for a good cause. Okay, so
should you just be like, yeah, I mean, it's a donation, I'm gonna, chuck it up to $20, and then if whatever here is here.
Yeah.
No, it was, she really took VIP to heart. She took VIP.
Like, I am very important. And I want all of the soup. I want more than just soup.
I want a filet mignon. I want lobster. And you're gonna give me soup in a little cup. And it's like, well, we're not feeding you dinner. It's from 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Like, go eat dinner after the fact.
It's like an hors d'oeuvres kind of couple bites of things situation.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And like, I feel like a lot of those interactions in restaurants specifically, or like in retail, and there's so many people out there with so much audacity to just behave like animals with no regard for anybody, for respect, zero respect.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, I'm paying for something, so I deserve it. And it's like, to an extent, sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like they forget that people who are serving them are humans.
Yeah. And also, like, I'm just serving you too. Like, I'm not the one to get mad at. I'm literally just here.
I didn't make the food.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't make the shirt. I didn't see the stain on the shirt because I didn't make the stain on the shirt that you bought. Like, none of this is my fault. So I don't know why you're screaming. Also, the screaming. Yeah. Do they think that they could like? I want to get inside the head.
Yeah.
I want to know what it is that is so triggering.
I think the problem is that they don't see themselves as being rude at all. Like, if you ask them, they'd be like, I didn't raise my voice. Huh. That's weird. Because you definitely did.
Your throat doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like absolutely no ability to like self-reflect and be like, oh, I was like being a little rude. And then it's like, even if they notice that they like realize they're being rude, like they're not going to apologize. No. They're too good for that.
Right. Too good. It's like some sort of like weird thing where it's like, they deserve it. Whatever it's like, oh, I deserve this because I did X. I paid for it, or I'm going to pay for it. Or this is owed to me. And it's like, how are we not self-aware of the situation, or self-aware of the tone, or self-aware of like, yeah, shit happens. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It is.
And that's why Karens get their name. And they're like Karen. I'm like, well,
I just know what I want and I know what I deserve.
yeah.
Like, maybe not though.
I was trying to think of
Hard to
some
say.
other Karen scenarios that I've been in. There was one actually I saw online, which I don't know if it was fake or not, but like here we are. It was literally it's actually really funny. Um it was a house. Okay, so it was two neighbors, right? So the Karen was in one of the houses and then the other house just got bought by a couple.
Mm-hmm.
They were moving in. And the neighbor, the Karen, parked her car in their driveway.
What?
Yes. And so then they literally like they're having a conversation and they started filming because the Karen was screaming at them saying that, well, Bob and whoever the couple that previously owned the home, sold the home, said that I can park my car here, so this is mine, this is my driveway.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
She's like, this is my driveway because Bob and whatever I forget the wife's name.
dude, that is literally just someone who has so little control in her life.
Yeah.
That she's like, this is the one thing I can control because these people don't know me and I'm just gonna bully them into getting what I want.
What a weird thing to stay like.
That is so weird.
You're so clearly in the wrong. There's no
Delusional.
Because the previous owners of the home said that you can use their driveway.
Guess what? They're gone. So
guess what? They don't live here no more.
Yeah, park on the street like everybody else. Like,
isn't that ridiculous? I thought it was so ridiculous. Again, I don't know if it was fake, but like, I just can't imagine putting in so much energy towards something like that.
mm-hmm.
When you know it's wrong.
Yeah.
No one's gonna side with you.
No one. Not a single person.
No.
And then they're like, why are you filming? Why are you filming? I'm like, well, because I don't know that anyone believed me that you're like this insane.
Like, yeah, honestly, they'd be like, are you sure it was like that? Because I don't think anybody in their right mind would say something like this.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like I'm not a huge fan of people filming everything.
Yeah.
Like that's another hot take.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that another time. But there are certain situations in which it's like, I think I need to. Because this is like out of control. You're out of control. Out of line.
Out of line. And it's like, I think also, I'm interested to know, like, I'm seeing a lot of likes again. I can hear myself say it. It's
no, we're just gonna eventually we'll stop. Eventually. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Sorry in advance. So we're working on it.
We're millennials.
We
like
it's my filler word, and I'm okay with that. What was I gonna say? For these type of individuals, it's just, I think it's more of just is it an insecurity? Is it like, what are they not getting that they have to just be so outwardly rude to folks?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. What is it?
What is it? Like, I want to go to in every scenario, it's like, okay, but like, what's your goal here?
Mm-hmm.
What's the goal? Is the goal that your car's parked here forever? Is the goal just to you're standing on business? Like, what's the goal? You know?
Yeah. It's like this was given to me long ago by someone. It was an informal arrangement, and it is the law now. Like it is. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. People are so weird.
Yeah, like, is it in their contract? Most likely not.
Yeah, no. like, when you bought the house, did it say in there like, actually, this space belongs to my neighbor?
Actually, we gave the driveway to our neighbors long ago.
Ugh. Filler too much.
Too much.
That was a good hot take.
Oh, thanks.
That was a good hot take.
Yeah, it's a good one. Man, I could talk about Karens all the time.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure those will come up more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, over time. Wow. So this is a good first
episode.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully there's at least one person still listening at this point.
Did we lose y'all? Hello? Is this thing
hello,
hello?
But we're gonna continue. Doesn't matter.
No.
I'll listen to my own podcast. I will be the one listener.
I love listening to my own voice. Obviously.
Oh, actually, I hate that, but I will. I'll do it. I'll do it just to get the one listen, just to get the one view.
I just need a number 1 at the bottom of that.
Yeah. But yeah, this is Overthinking It Out Loud. We look forward to the next episode. Yes. We're going to talk about all sorts of crazy stuff on this podcast. Just whatever comes to mind, really. Whatever's happening that week, maybe.
Last week. Well, we take notes throughout the week.
We do.
You know,
we take notes. We have an organized doc.
As you can tell, we're very
type A,
folks. Can't be planners without it, so we plan these things.
All right.
For the most part.
Yeah.
This is probably the most unplanned thing I do.
Probably, yeah. This is like the craziest we get.
So I'm glad you're here for it. I'm glad you're here for it.
Yeah, we're glad you're here for it. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you on the flip side.